The name Genghis Khan is synonymous with military conquest, but the man's most enduring legacy isn't just written in history books, it's also written in our DNA. While his empire may have vanished long ago, his bloodline has since spread across continents, making him one of the most prolific ancestors in human history. From the windswept steppes of Mongolia to the bustling cities of Central Asia, his descendants still walk among us today. Imagine standing in a crowded stadium filled with tens of thousands of people. Statistically speaking, if you were anywhere in Asia, a small but significant portion of those around you could be direct descendants of Genghis Khan. His military conquests reshaped civilizations, but it's his genetic legacy, hidden in the DNA of millions of people, that remains his most astonishing triumph. Through sheer military dominance and a vast network of wives and concubines, Genghis Khan ensured that his bloodline would persist for generations. So how did this Mongol warlord, once a nomadic outcast, leave behind a legacy that transcends time? Born as Temujin, Genghis Khan was a Mongol warrior and the founder and first Khagan, or supreme ruler, of the Mongol Empire. His childhood was marked by hardship. His father was poisoned by a rival tribe, and his family was cast out, forced to survive in the harsh Mongolian wilderness. This period of struggle hardened him into a formidable leader, shaping his ambitions to unify all the Mongol clans. On the brutal steppes of Mongolia, where betrayal was common and alliances were fragile, Temujin forged his destiny from exile to emperor. Through brilliant military strategy, diplomacy, and ruthless determination, he brought warring Mongol tribes under his banner. Once he was named Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler, his ambitions stretched far beyond Mongolia. He launched invasions that shattered some of the most powerful civilizations of his time. His armies moved with precision, relying on disciplined horse archers and coordinating flanking maneuvers. He used fear as a weapon, often sparing cities that surrendered while decimating those that resisted. The psychological impact of his reputation sometimes led cities to surrender before a single arrow was shot. By the time of his death, his empire stretched from the Korean peninsula to the Caspian Sea, covering vast portions of Russia, China, the Middle East, and Central Asia. The Mongols dominated the Silk Road, controlling the lifeline of trade and wealth. They enforced laws, protected merchants, and facilitated one of the greatest periods of cross-cultural exchange that the world had ever seen. The conquests of Genghis Khan were brutal, marked by massacres that reshaped global populations. It is estimated that his campaigns led to the deaths of around 40 million people, approximately 11% of the world's population at the time. Yet, despite the destruction, he welcomed diverse religions and cultures into his empire. From Muslims and Buddhists to Tatars and Europeans, the Mongol Empire was an expansive melting pot under his rule. Genghis Khan did not just build an empire, he built a dynasty. Officially, he had 44 wives and concubines. Unofficially, historical estimates suggest his harem numbered closer to 500. Most of these women were taken from conquered territories, and some were offered to him as a form of tribute. The harem was divided into 4 major camps, each overseen by one of Genghis Khan's principal wives: Berta, Kulan, Yesui, and Yesugen. Berta, as the Great Empress, held the highest status, but all 4 wielded considerable power. The concubines, too, had structured ranks and individual households. Each camp functioned as a miniature court, with servants, guards, and political influence. Women in the harem were not passive figures. They often advised on matters of state, formed diplomatic marriages, and contributed to regional governance. Berta herself came from a prestigious Mongol family and played a crucial role in Temujin's early rise. A special elite guard, the Keshig, was tasked with protecting both the Khan and his harem. They also monitored which tent he entered each night, as he frequently moved between concubines. The result? A staggering number of children. To maintain the structure of the Mongol Empire, the children of Genghis Khan's concubines were usually given noble titles or prominent military positions, ensuring their influence remained widespread. By placing his children from concubines into noble and military roles, Genghis Khan reinforced his political grip and ensured the dynasty's expansion long after his death. It was not just about reproduction, it was about control. His sons and grandsons ruled over vast territories, ensuring that Mongol influence spread even as the empire fractured into separate khanates. With hundreds of women in his harem, it is possible that Genghis Khan fathered an immense number of children, perhaps even over 1,000. However, historical records are scarce. Tradition claims he had 120 children, although this number could be a significant underestimate, given modern genetic studies. What is known for certain is that he fathered 9 children with Berta, 4 sons and 5 daughters. These children, raised in the heart of the empire, received both military and administrative training. Sons were groomed for leadership, while daughters were often married into allied tribes to strengthen loyalty and trade. However, Genghis Khan's reproductive legacy didn't end with his own children. His generals and loyal officers, often carrying his bloodline, also took many wives, further spreading his genetic imprint. This strategic practice ensured that Mongol genes were woven into the ruling classes of many conquered regions, from China to Persia. Genghis Khan's eldest son we know by name, Jochi, inherited land in western Mongolia and founded the Golden Horde. Yet his legitimacy was questioned, as Berta had been abducted and taken as a spoil of war before his birth. Chagatai, the second son, ruled the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, with his capital established in the bustling trade hub of Samarkand. He was a stickler for Mongol law and often clashed with his brothers over matters of succession and inheritance. Ogadai, often overlooked due to his drinking habits, significantly expanded the empire. Despite his personal struggles, he was known for his intelligence and charisma. He also established Karakoram as the Mongol capital and supervised the empire's expansion into Europe and the Middle East. Tolui, the youngest son, controlled the Mongol homeland. His lineage included Kublai Khan, who later founded China's Yuan dynasty, and Mongi Khan, who ruled much of the Middle East. The Toluid line would go on to shape the trajectory of Mongol influence in Asia for generations. Genghis Khan's daughters also wielded substantial power. Alakai Beki, for example, ruled the Onguid tribe and played a crucial role in maintaining the empire's stability. Sheshe again governed the Oirats, while Altalan controlled a Uyghur kingdom. Several more of his daughters held notable positions in the expanding empire, often serving as cultural and political bridges between Mongol and local traditions. The children of Genghis Khan shaped the world through titles, marriages, and the machinery of empire. But long after the banners fell, his legacy continued, hidden in silence, carried forward not by memory or monument, but by blood. Only recently have we begun to uncover just how far that inheritance reached. A 2003 genetic study examined the Y chromosomes of men across Asia. The findings were astonishing. 8% of men in the former Mongol Empire share a common Y chromosome that can be traced back to a single ancestor from around 1,000 years ago. This ancestor was almost certainly Genghis Khan. The researchers, led by a team from the University of Leicester, tested over 2,000 men from populations spanning a vast region, from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. What they found was a surprisingly concentrated and consistent genetic marker. The pattern was not random. It fit the timeline, the geography, and the social structure of Genghis Khan's empire. Today, as many as 4 million people may carry Genghis Khan's genetic signature, with 1 in every 200 people on Earth linked to him. This discovery revealed that, while the Mongol Empire eventually fragmented politically, its patriarch's lineage quietly endured, passed down from father to son through generations. Other so-called Super Y lineages exist, such as the Manchu lineage in China and the Enil lineage in Ireland. However, none are as widespread as those of Genghis Khan. His genetic legacy is exceptional not just because of its scale, but also because it reflects the Mongol strategy of conquest, marriage, and rule. What makes this phenomenon even more compelling is how science has intersected with culture. In Mongolia and parts of Central Asia, families still pass down oral traditions linking them to the Great Khan. These stories have now gained a new layer of validation. For some, genetic testing has become a way to confirm ancestral pride. For others, it's a way to reconnect with a forgotten past, one strand of DNA at a time. Long after the last imperial banners were lowered, a different kind of record remained, etched not in scrolls or monuments, but in the code of life itself. While history remembers the brutality and genius of Genghis Khan, modern science reminds us that part of him is still very much alive. The sword built the empire, but blood carried it forward. While the Mongol Empire faded into history, its ruler left behind something far more enduring. His military strategies, trade networks, and even his brutal conquests may be studied in history books, but his most lasting impact was of an entirely different kind, one that continues to shape human history in an unexpected way. Genghis Khan did not just leave behind an empire, he left behind a lineage that still walks among us today, not in stone monuments or fading maps, but in the very essence of human life itself.